award-winning American poet, author, educator, speaker, humanitarian, and visual artist. He is the author of We Be Walkin' Blackly in the Deep, Marian University, and a 2022 Frontier Poetry Global Poetry Prize finalist representing the continent of Africa. His poetry is widely published in the United States in journals and archives such as Up the Staircase Quarterly, South Florida Poetry Journal, Inverse Poetry Archives, Clepsydra Literary and Art Magazine, Rigorous Magazine, and High Shelf Press. He founded the Elevation Review, an international poetry journal that amplifies the voices of underrepresented writers. Kneeland has a BA in creative writing from DePauw University, an MA in ministry with a specialization in worship art from Wesley Seminary at Indiana Wesleyan University, and is a thesis candidate in Butler University's MFA program in creative writing.
Good evening, everyone. I have one update because I didn't send an update to my bio that I now have my MFA in creative writing from Butler. As of what's today, Thursday? 2 days ago? 2 days ago. So, super excited about that. Thank you for having me today. It's wonderful to see all of your beautiful faces and to meet some of you prior to reading. So I'm going to start with my book, We Be Walkin' Blackly in the Deep. I'm going to read a couple poems from there, and then I'm going to read some poems from my newly finished thesis, which is still a work in progress. Just to check on time, how much time do we have? Good?
Yeah,
Okay.
8 minutes.
8 minutes? Okay. All right. This poem is called An Account of History. This is the part of history that no one's explained to you. And what I'm about to say is not too far-fetched for the things we've seen and believed in history books, whose pages were ripped from volumes. This history can't remain tethered to our brains, you say, like fossilized barnacles torn from deep-sea chests that harness the power and bones of breath from our ancestors' deep-sea chests. The chambered nautilus has one heart where others of its kind have three, a trinity of life beats and ocean tones reduced to one soul that remembers the shifting of tectonic plates when the gates of an ocean floor welcomed my dear Mother Pearl home, her locks the shape of lavender, after she jumped overboard to escape cold-pressed olive hands. Where are your mother's hands, you now ask, and the nautilus blinks its too good pinhole black eyes, captures a murky image of nail beds becoming beds for newly hinged clams. And how many hinges of shackles fell to the floor the night the water freed our people? The nautilus records their souls before they pass through to the brine pool where no life can enter, and it uses its too good pinhole black eyes, carries as much light as it can to the shallow shore of West Africa, waves and grooves pooling from the black ship that slipped away from the Golden Coast. It remembers the day the diatoms shouted with rage and mist fell, covered the Amazon and Eden and the Red Sea, and the firmament of heaven was broken because God had to hear clearly those deep sea chests who still breathed posthumously, and the sea delivered prayers on a sheet of sea foam the nautilus captured with her too good pinhole black eyes, and the echoing song of Mother Pearl ringing through her perfect geometric shell. We still black, we still hear cracks, we feel whips crack, we still lack facts, we tread the path, we can't turn back, we be black death, we still give life, we still feel pain, we feel the shame, we bear the blame, we believe the same, we. Thank you. I won't give too much context for this poem, but just know that the main idea here is the mental state of the black man in America. Okay. The name of this poem is You Don't Ask Me How I'm Doing, So I Tell You. My bank account and the rent bill both conclude that I cannot overstay my welcome in a system never meant for me to afford or remain. There is no safe space for the black man. Who defends him? Forms a barricade around his black body, places a force field around his black mind, keeps white chalk from completing its life cycle around black galaxies, planets of men and golden black impenetrable skin who thought they'd live here for free, in exchange for Mayflower becoming a part of canonized vocabulary. Police keep taxing with tasers and light bills skyrocket, nerves short circuit, words slur until we can't feel the same. So when they shoot us or apply fist to face, we die with no light left in eye sockets. These bullets lay new vinyl floors in a body I may vacate early. No 60-day advance notice, no renewal for black men who breathe just to stay cool, because these dreams are hot damn sheets, lucid dreams of necks under knees, throats seized, brains the size of watermelons America forces us to eat on Juneteenth to erase the cotton-thick breeze of black resistance and history, until we're nothing more than anti-history, but ain't I history? A reflection of blacks who wish to teach the story of the white lion that sailed the oceans blue until they turned black. Instead, we're beaten black along to our oceans until our brown skin fades blue. Confirmed payment for the next 30 days, money's gone, and in the same keystroke, another one of me's been labeled a mother's dead son called home. And I'm supposed to wake up okay, and write about nature and scream, oh, how the wind sways, when brothers are pleading, struggling to say, hey, you don't do that, okay? I call out my mother's name 10 hours away. I call my father's name too, a day away, and hope he doesn't answer from the other side, because he might offer me a room rent free. Thank you. All right, now that we have gotten the some of that heaviness out of the way, my thesis was is a discovery of my genealogy. My grandmother turned 73 this year and decided to spring upon me that we are Nigerian and Cuban and indigenous American. And I looked at her like, what? Because 2 weeks prior, some random guy at Butler University walks up to me, he's like, what's up, brother? And, hey, you from the motherland? Yeah. I was like, no. Like, I'm from here. You know, and he was like, nah, you definitely Nigerian, bro. And I was like, no, I'm not. I'm sorry. Like, and then 2 weeks later for her to tell me that we are 3, not just 1. And so this thesis was an exploration of searching for answers to questions that I probably had my whole life, but just didn't know to ask them. And so there's some really beautiful moments in here, and I hope you enjoy. So I'm going to start with a poem called Prologue. This was also, I was formulating this in like movie or film, I don't know. So September 1997. The old Walmart was 2 doors down from Kroger. Travel carnivals brought everyone together, lined us up like degenerates, like toys, exiled to the less desirable depository. But we were kings and queens that night, no matter the race or class. Grandma paid for my tickets and I ran over to the carousel lined with American muscle cars, autumn sun staining silhouettes out of stretched tarp and highway signs. I sat in the rustic yellow car, latched my seatbelt to the metal bar, placed over my head by the ride master. A girl sat beside me, not white, not black, just brown. Her voice was smooth, cinnamon cast over a bowl of hot oatmeal. Can I ride with you? I looked over at Grandma for her approval. Yes. Before the ride began, the girl kissed me on the cheek, and I, unable to express my immense joy, sat there, a little fire wrapped in clay, a black boy painted rouge and blue and brown for all the words I wouldn't say. Thank you. Okay. All right, this poem is called Testament. In the midst of my writing, I found myself trying to find the ways in which My discovery of identity intersects with everything else that's happening in the world, so I hope you kind of pick up on this. I'm not going to explain, but I'm going to let the words do most of the talking. This poem is called Testament. My daughter responds with love to everything the world gives. I watch her unfurl my clenched hands into rose petals. What's wrong? Want to talk about it? She asks as though she's lived 7 lives. I stir her maple and brown sugar oatmeal into a syrupy sweet. Too much hot water this time. Maybe another time. Honey. Toast shoots out of the toaster. Bullets catapult from unforgiving barrels. Pierce the veil of innocence. Rapture children and parents alike. Daddy. Explosions leave bodies untraceable. Voices muffled beneath the buildings that once kept them. Yes, too much water. Let's use less next time. For those who remain, water is as scarce as finding shelter. Collect 3 days' worth in case they have to wait 10 more days. Daddy. They won't stop firing. They won't stop firing. They won't stop firing. Daddy, I think the oatmeal is ready. I serve her a warm bowl garnished with a forehead kiss, hoping that every bite leaves the swallow sweeter for the stomach, cleans wounds left for dead. Thank you. Do we have time for 2 more? 2 more? Okay. All right. I have time for 2 more. And once again, thank you guys for having me today. I'm very excited to be sharing these poems with you. This poem is called Self-Portrait as Black Superman. 0 to 7. Early 90s windbreaker, wrinkled suits, pink and blue and pastel hues vouch for innocence. In each Oshkosh step is light and airy, non-threatening. Every other comment from a white shopper is either, look at those chubby cheeks, or she's so beautiful. Although we're boys with long hair, including that cub's tail that hangs from our necks, the one lock we're allowed to have because any more would label us man-child dreadlocked warlocks. 8 to 13. Easily stimulated by the JCPenney photographer, the candy lady at church when she dressed up for Easter, and the casual Easter egg hunt, and the pastor's anniversary, and the girl you've had a crush on your whole church life but never could have because you wore the cloak of a pastor's grandson, made it hard to stand up and walk around the collection plate. Only had $1 to give, so you placed it in the silver tray. Rubbed knuckles against red velvet at the bottom of the plate. The only softness you can touch. Ain't no babies coming in this house, so you better get your hormones in check. Being an obsidian boy clearly meant you'd have to know what you didn't know without eating fruit from a garden, guarded by flaming belts from her holy closet. 14 to 18. Genius in a teenager's body without the lab or freedom. Called it smelling your own piss to keep from showing the fear of what happens to a black man when he knew more than what his obsidian body was designed to retain. To hold in the fear of what happened to teenage boys who found joy in playing outside until the streetlights came on and never made it inside until an electric chair called them home. When you left for college, you held on to the intellect that got you there, not knowing you need to adjust to the times. 19 to 46. I am not 46 years old. Island girl infatuation metastasized into a full-blown lifestyle. A coincidence that you could be worthy of their time makes you wonder if you're one of them. Impossible. All the women you loved in your life were black, even though your mother spoke fluent Spanish on recorded lines in a 5-story brick building across from the courthouse. One of the girls breaks your heart, the other trades yours for another, and the other lets it go too early. You've waxed numb, and like your heart, you become locked in a box. The obsidian boy, locked in a box with other obsidian boys. No one expects you to be weak, but no one wants you to be strong. You wonder how you were ever that special in the first place. During the day, you absorb the constant beckon of everyone who needs you. Night sneaks in, finds you half alive inside the box where no one needs a hero. Thank you. I think I might need to choose carefully because not that I should go out with a bang, but. So the name of my thesis is called Cien Fuegos, which translates into 100 fires. And for me, it's like I'm putting out these little fires every time I figure out an answer to the questions I've been searching for. So, and Cienfuegos is also the place in which my ancestors traveled from in order to make it to Amite, Louisiana, which is where my grandmother's side of the family, or her paternal side of the family, started. So, this poem is titled 4 Ways of Looking at a Spreading Fire. 1. The obsidian boy jumps across his bed from corner to corner in a blue mask and satin red cape. His LED sword slices San Jose air like warm bread at the panaderia down the street. At 3 years old, he saves the world, bellows with victory at monsters in his room, blinds the underside of his bed with green and yellow, streaks from his plastic blade, all before a 6 o'clock dinner. Mahogany table, complete with matching chairs and placemats, his heroes sitting around the table with him, mom, dad, big mama, and family friends who speak more Spanish than they do, incomplete. He looks around as if he's missing someone else, as if every cell in his body knows someone's warm body should feel the chair beside him. 2. In 95, a black man and his son could walk golden streets, set ablaze in 5 o'clock shine, and shadows cooled to asphalt by 7:45. Wednesday, Jack in the Box fries crunch between our teeth on the walk home, some 11 minutes away from the nearest air conditioner. I'm sure he made 11 a thing before it became household slang. He lifted me above his head, carried me on his shoulders. Oh shoot, I lost the doggone page, guys. I forgot it was 2 pages long. My bad, sorry. Oh man. Don't cancel me. Jeez Louise, hold on. Man, okay, hold on. Until we arrived at a barren parking lot and chain link fences laced with rust. My mother yelled from a block away, "Muévete." 3. On my 13th birthday, my grandmother called the school. Yes, I'll be picking up my grandson early. When she pulled up, I opened the passenger side door, her face gray as spring clouds folding over each other to hide the sun. "Put your seatbelt on now," she'd fiercely mumble, a half beat after our sighed, trembling in our black Ford Expedition. The air crystallized between our 2 shoulders, cold as woe. "It don't matter what happens next, you hear? You ain't gotta worry about him." My DNA was part of a man I never knew. I was supposed to be mad at him because they were mad at him, but how could I throw him away? I never held his hand, never shared a meal, never felt his warmth in threads of my blanket. We arrived at a building tucked away behind century-old trees. Spring leaves thawed, dripping water broke the silence between our lips. Inside, the lab technician asks, blood draw or cheek swab. 4. Lee was an active father, always did what a father does. Thursday. We walk into the brisk arena, our own winter cast in the middle of 85-degree weather. Pucks floating around the ice-white rink, day-old Oreos in the lake of frozen milk, a San Jose Sharks jersey, too bulky for my 3-year-old frame, hangs in a treasured glass case, waits for hundreds of people, too busy to notice, to pass by. Thank you.